This is lesson 3, and it's called dividing a quantity in a given ratio, which is one of the most common problems faced when you're dealing with ratios. Now, from this point on, I want you to think about a ratio in terms of parts. So if you have a ratio which says it's 2 to 3, I want you to think about that as 2 parts of something as opposed to 3 parts of it as well. Alright, or 3 parts of another quantity. Alright, or something is shared in the ratio 2 to 3. That means that someone has 2 parts of it, someone else has 3 parts of it. But also that if we add those parts together, the whole amount will equal 5 parts. Now, when we solve these problems, there are two ways of doing it. You can choose which way you're most comfortable with. The first method is called the unitary method, which is just highlighted here. You can have a look at this method. I'm about to explain it anyway. And there is also the fractions method, which I'll explain as well with the examples down below. But as I said, you choose which one you're most comfortable with. You don't have to do both, just choose one, okay, and stick with that. So example 1 says, divide 54 meters in the ratio 4 to 5. Okay, 4 to 5. So automatically I'm going to say, well, how many parts do I have in my ratio? I've got 4 plus 5. So I've got 9 parts in the ratio. Now, if I want to work out what 4 parts is equal to and what 5 parts is equal to, I know I've got the total amount. I really need to know what 1 part is equal to. So if I know 9 parts is equal to 54, then 1 part is going to equal 54 divided by 9, which is 6 meters. So 1 part equals 6 meters. Now, very simply now, 4 parts will be 4 times 6 meters, which is 24 meters. 5 parts will be 5 times 6 meters, which is 30 meters. So now my ratio of 4 to 5 is 24 meters to 30 meters. Now the important part of this is to 30 meters, not 60 meters. I screwed that up. Let's just write down 30 meters. And it's important to note that the 24 plus 30 should equal the 54. Okay, if you've done it correctly. Now, let's show you the fraction way. Again, we have 4 to 5, so it's important to understand that we have got a total of 9 parts in the ratio. And the first number in the ratio represents 4/9 of the total. Okay, so the 4 represents 4/9. So we just simply have to find 4/9 of 54. You can do that on the calculator, do that in your head, but when you find 4/9 of 54, you will get 24 meters. The 5 represents 5/9. So we'll do 5/9 of 54 times 54, and that will give us 30 meters. So just like this first method, we'll get 24 meters to 30 meters. 24 meters to 30 meters. Alright, example 2 is a similar question. It says divide $300 in the ratio 2 to 1 to 3. So 2 plus 1 plus 3 gives me 6 parts in the ratio. 6 parts in the ratio. So if I know 6 parts, it's important that I find out what 1 part is. So I'm going to take my whole amount, which is $300, divided by 6 parts, and that tells me that 1 part of the money is equal to $50. So the 2 represents 2 parts of the money. So 2 parts will equal 2 lots of $50, which is $100. The 1 part, well, we already know what 1 part is. 1 part equals $50. And 3 parts, we have got 3 times $50, which is $150. Right, let's do the fraction method, and just like we did at the top, we've got our 2 plus 1 plus 3, not the right order, but that's okay, 6 parts to the money. So that means our 2 represents 2/6 of the money. So 2/6 times 300, which will give us on our calculator $100. 1/6 of our money will be 1/6 times 300, which is $50. And finally 3/6 of our money, 3/6 times $300 gives you $150. So a ratio of 2 to 1 to 3 becomes 100, 250 to 150. Alright, example 3, slightly harder question. It says the ratio of boys to girls at Birdsville College is 2 to 3. If there are 246 boys at the school, how many students attend Birdsville College? So we know how many boys, we don't know how many girls or the total, but we do know the ratio is 2 to 3. So we can start off using the unitary method by saying, well, we know the boys equals 246, so we say that 2 parts of our ratio, 2 parts equals 246. One part of our ratio, because that's important to find, will be 246 divided by 2, which will give us 1, 2, 3 students. And because we want the total number of students in the school, the total number of parts in the ratio is 5. So the total number of students is going to be 5 times 1, 2, 3. And if we get our calculator, we will do 5 times 1, 2, 3. No, that's not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 times 5, which will equal 615. Which equals 615 students in the school or college. Alright, finally, if we do this question using the fractions method, we know that there are 2 numbers in the ratio, so 2 plus 3 gives us a total of 5. So that tells us that 2/5 of the school equals 246. 2/5 of the school. So if we find out what 1/5 of the school is, 1/5 will very simply be 246 divided by 2. So 1/5 will equal 1, 2, 3. And finally 5/5 will equal 1, 2, 3 times 5, which will equal 615 students. Alright, as I said, whichever way you like to do it, it's up to you. Okay, unitary method, fraction method, okay, give them both a go, but I'm sure at some point you'll eventually stick to the one method. Let's see how you go.